Well, good evening once again. Day 1377 of the Trump administration. That leaves exactly 7 days to go until Election Day. We've now entered the most critical part of this race at a time when the coronavirus is at its peak thus far across our country. Donald Trump and Joe Biden have now the final week to amplify their messages and get out the vote.
You're going to see a red wave like they've never seen before, and they saw a very big one. This is going to be bigger, and they know it. It's going to be beautiful. And it's probably going to start. It doesn't have to start on Tuesday. It can start earlier, early voting.
Time and again throughout our history, we've seen charlatans, the con men, the phony populists who sought to play on our fears, appeal to our worst appetites, and pick at the oldest scabs we have for their own political gain. We can restore our soul and save our country. And I know we can unite and heal this nation. Stay empowered, stay optimistic, stay united, because you too have a sacred duty, the duty to vote.
Today, the incumbent president traveled to the upper Midwest to defend his 2016 wins in Michigan, Wisconsin, Nebraska. Biden was focused on expanding his reach. He made 2 stops in Georgia, a battleground state that hasn't gone for a Democrat since Clinton in '92. First Lady Melania Trump and Barack Obama also pitching in to help the campaigns with appearances in Pennsylvania and Florida. Voter enthusiasm driving massive turnout in early balloting. New data from NBC News and Target Smart showing over 61 million of us, nearly half of all voters who cast their ballots in 2016, have already voted. Then there's the reason for all the early vote, the uncontrolled pandemic. As we mentioned, the final week of this election is unfolding as the number of coronavirus cases is now soaring across our country. NBC News putting it this way tonight, quote, infections are spreading across the United States at the fastest rate since the start of the pandemic. And a new poll reveals a majority of adults reported that they know at least one person who's been diagnosed with COVID-19. The New York Times reports the U.S. has reported more than 500,000 new cases over the past week. One analysis from the Washington Post notes that Trump's re-election campaign hinges on having his supporters ignore the pandemic. The AP notes the obvious: this virus is particularly intense right now in the states Trump needs most. That would be the upper Midwest. Nevertheless, Trump presented a very different picture of the pandemic during his rallies today, while President Obama offered yet another searing critique of Trump's handling of the virus while campaigning for Biden in Florida.
We're testing everybody. In many ways, I hate it. In many ways, I hate it. We test everybody. There are other countries that don't do testing, and they show very few cases. I mean, it's a very simple thing. But overall, it's good to have the testing. We find out where it is, and there are a lot of things. But they use it to make us look bad. It's COVID, COVID, COVID. You can't watch anything else. On November 4th, you'll hear, it's getting better. It's getting better. You watch. No, they're doing heavy COVID because they want to scare people. We're rounding like this racetrack. Look at this. It's perfect. We're rounding the curve. We will vanquish the virus.
He's turned the White House into a hot zone. More than 225,000 people in this country are dead. More than 100,000 small businesses have closed. 500,000 jobs are gone in Florida alone. Think about that. What's his closing argument? That people are too focused on COVID. He said this at one of his rallies. COVID, 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 he's complaining. He's jealous of COVID's media coverage. If he had been focused on COVID from the beginning, cases wouldn't be reaching new record highs across the country this week.
This afternoon, we also heard Trump ramp up his attacks on Kamala Harris, stoking fears about the possibility of a Harris presidency should any harm come to Joe Biden.
If he gets elected 3 weeks into his presidency, they'll say, Kamala, you ready? Let's go. That's why they're talking about the 25th Amendment, right? 3 weeks. 3 weeks in, Joe shot. Let's go, Kamala, you ready?
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.